Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're getting into something that's honestly fascinating: the invisible software that powers our computers before the operating system even wakes up. It's a foundational piece of tech that completely dictates your system's speed, security, and capabilities, and I can't wait to jump into this with you.
Okay, let's dive right into this by asking a deceptively simple question. What actually happens when you reach out and press the power button on your machine? In those few seconds before the operating system loads up, there's this vital, completely invisible process that literally has to execute flawlessly before you ever see your Windows or Linux welcome screen.
To really get this, we have to look at firmware, traditionally known as the BIOS. Think of it kind of like a morning routine. When you hit that power button, this essential software, which lives right there on a chip on your motherboard, wakes up your computer's hardware. It stretches its legs, checks to make sure every single component, from your memory to your processor, is functioning properly, and basically gets everything fully dressed and ready for the workday before handing the keys over to the OS.
So here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll start with waking up your computer, the legacy of BIOS, and then enter UEFI, the modern upgrade. After that, we'll hit the big benefits of UEFI booting, locking down system security, and finally, the future of firmware.
Let's start with Section 1, waking up your computer, the invisible morning routine.
Now, whether you're an IT professional deploying racks of servers or just setting up a laptop at home, understanding this initial spark of software is absolutely crucial because it literally dictates the absolute limits of what your physical machine can do. For a long time, we were actually facing a growing crisis in computer architecture. The hardware was vastly outgrowing the software that started it up. While PCs were undergoing these massive, breathtaking physical transformations, faster processors, enormous storage arrays, the underlying software responsible for just turning them on, well, it was severely falling behind.
Which brings us to Section 2, the legacy of BIOS, bottlenecks from the 1980s. So to understand why we desperately needed an upgrade, we have to look at the original basic input-output system, the BIOS. This was an aging technology that miraculously survived largely unchanged since the 1980s. The crucial point here is that this legacy 32-bit architecture severely bottlenecked modern hardware. It relies on the master boot record, or MBR partitioning scheme, and this creates a hard limit. It can only boot from drives up to 2.1 terabytes in size, and it maxes out at just 4 partitions. Plus, it operates in this incredibly restrictive 1 megabyte memory execution space. That means it's painfully slow to load modern device firmware. And if you've ever had to use it, you already know it relies on these clunky, separate text interfaces where you literally have to reboot just to configure different devices.
Moving on to Section 3, enter UEFI, the modern upgrade and an industry standard solution. Clearly, something had to give. Back in 2007, tech giants like Microsoft, AMD, Intel, and major PC manufacturers realized they just couldn't patch up the old BIOS anymore. So they struck an industry-wide agreement to completely overhaul our firmware standard. The result was UEFI, or the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. This is a modern, highly programmable standard. By utilizing 64-bit addressing and shifting to the GPT partition table, the GPT scheme, UEFI completely shatters the limitations of the past. GPT uses 128-bit identifiers, offering redundant backup partition tables and the kind of dynamic flexibility that traditional MBR could honestly only dream of. And this brilliantly illustrates the direct head-to-head showdown between the two, where BIOS is stuck at that 2.1 terabyte limit with a tiny 1 megabyte execution space and those disjointed menus. UEFI brings in the GPT scheme for massive capacities, allocates memory dynamically on demand for boot devices, and actually consolidates the user interface into one central dashboard.
Let's hit Section 4, the big benefits of UEFI booting: speed, scale, and interface. Let's break down the tangible, real-world benefits this actually provides. What does UEFI give us in terms of processing speed, storage scale, and just everyday usability? Well, take a look at this number: 9.4 zettabytes. Because of that 64-bit addressing and GPT scheme we just talked about, UEFI supports booting from drives up to 9.4 zettabytes in size. Just to put that staggering number into perspective, that's roughly 3 times the size of all the data currently existing on the entire internet. Yeah, it's safe to say we won't be maxing that out on our home PCs anytime soon.
Now, what's really interesting here is the clean user interface on this Dell UEFI boot settings menu. Notice how much better that looks? UEFI utilizes something called the Human Interface Infrastructure, or HII. This finally gives us a unified dashboard. You can configure your BIOS, your management controller, all your boot devices right from a single screen without needing to constantly restart your computer between configurations.
But it actually goes even deeper than that. UEFI acts almost like its own mini operating system. It dynamically allocates memory on demand for complex boot device firmware. It gives us native support for booting directly from lightning-fast NVMe storage devices. And in an enterprise environment, it even allows servers to boot straight from a uniform resource identifier over the internet via HTTP. Plus, it achieves a much faster OS handoff because all the executable bootstrap images are formatted in the modern PE/COF format. It's a massive step up.
Let's move to Section 5, locking down system security, protecting the pre-boot. Now, speed and scale are fantastic, for sure, but this new architecture is fundamentally necessary for modern cybersecurity. A computer's absolute most vulnerable moment is right after it turns on, before your firewall or antivirus even has a chance to load. Legacy BIOS offered very little protection here, but UEFI introduces Secure Boot. This feature mathematically verifies X509 certificates and hash values against a very strict Secure Boot policy. It's actively verifying the integrity of every single pre-boot code module, which completely blocks unauthorized malware or rogue device firmware dead in its tracks before it can do any damage to the system.
Finally, Section 6, the future of firmware and practical applications today.
Let's bring these enterprise-grade technical concepts back down to a practical application for you on your personal machine. Because UEFI boot times are so incredibly fast, you often can't just mash the F2 or escape key quickly enough to enter the settings menu like you could back in the 90s. But you can access it super easily from inside Windows. Just click the Start menu, select Power, and hold down the Shift key while you click Restart. From that blue menu that pops up, you follow the path, Troubleshoot, then Advanced Options, select UEFI Firmware Settings, and hit Restart. Your PC will reboot directly into that clean UEFI dashboard we looked at a minute ago.
To summarize our deep dive today, I want to highlight this fantastic quote from our sources. UEFI is a very forward-positioned tech that's made to embrace the larger and faster processing needs consumers and businesses will continue to have over time. You know, for most of us, UEFI runs completely quietly in the background, but it represents a massive, absolutely necessary leap forward to ensure our software can actually keep pace with our ever-evolving hardware.
Which leaves us with this final thought. As firmware evolves from a simple 1 megabyte startup script into its own highly programmable, dynamic, and secure environment, what impossible hardware feats is it going to unlock for us next? When the software limit is finally removed, the physical possibilities become pretty much endless. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely check out your own UEFI settings the next time you reboot.